Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host, Jamie, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode. We have episodes on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, the long episodes, and then mini episodes on Mondays and Thursdays. So join us for whatever you please. Today's theme is basically terrible mothers. So they're pretty sad, if I'm being completely honest. We're going to start with the first one, which does have a trigger warning, essay, and abuse. So if those things trigger you, then do not listen to this segment. It's not long, it's very short. So the title is My Mom Wants Her Husband to Get Me Pregnant. I am married and 26 years old, but my mom is 47 and getting married soon. We have a complicated history due to her abusing me as a child, but she seemed to have gotten better. At least I thought so. She invited me to her wedding last week, but just now she dropped the bomb. I want my husband to get you pregnant so I can have another child. My mom had a hysterectomy. Now, I don't know if it's safe for me to go to her wedding, and now I don't know how to tell my husband. My husband will be furious, not with me, but with my mom, and he's extremely protective over me and our children. My mom trafficked me as a child, and now I have an overwhelming fear that she will try to traffic me into giving her a child or something. I know it's so stupid to be afraid of that. No, it's not. It is not stupid to be afraid of that. It's not stupid to be afraid of your mom, and it's not at all stupid to have anxiety about the trauma of your past, especially going through something that horrific. I mean, I can't even imagine being trafficked as a child, and not only that, but the trafficker being your mom is a next level of, I mean, betrayal and everything. So I really wish that you didn't even talk to your mom, to be honest with you, because she deserves jail time, number one, and also she deserves nothing good in her life, let alone another child that she can abuse and use for whatever God knows what she's going to do with this child. So please, Lord, I hope she doesn't find a way to get a child, but you definitely, obviously, are not going to give her one. I mean, that's really just simply said. There's nothing more to it. That's actually insane, and this girl deserves jail immediately. So let's read some comments. It's not stupid to be afraid of that, and this woman has definitely not gotten any better. That's human trafficking. She didn't even go about it in a professional way. Like, to bring up surrogacy would have been better, but it just sounds like she wants to use OP's body for her benefit. No. Even surrogacy in this situation is an absolute no. An absolute no. This mom should honestly do one better and stop contacting her daughter, because she is a terrible person and she doesn't even deserve contact with her daughter. Go no contact and absolutely tell your husband. You and your family need protection right now. This is a dangerous situation. The husband needs to be informed in case the mom or new stepdad tries anything. If the mom has trafficked the daughter before, there is a chance that this wedding and desire for the mom to have her daughter have a kid for her is transactional on having sex with the daughter, and the stepdad/mom might not take no for an answer. OP needs to let her husband know and maybe even look into options with a restraining order. Yeah, seriously. You need to go no contact like yesterday. She trafficked you. I won't go into detail about what I think should be done to anyone who traffics other people and children, but she should be rotting in prison. She should not be given another child. I'd be going scorched earth on this, no contact, and restraining orders for everyone in your family against her. Are your children of school age? Does she know which schools they attend? You need to contact their schools and tell them that only you and your husband can pick up your children. Up to you if you tell them exactly why or not. And the crazier thing is that this mom is just suggesting, like, hey, you have a child for me, and then give me that child. Like, give me your child that I would then say is my child, but is not actually my child. Like, I mean, that's insane. I'm not against, of course, I'm not against adoption, but you know what I mean in this situation. Like, after doing all of that to your daughter and then to just be like, hey, give me this. The next title of the next story is my mom met up with my husband and had sexual relations with him behind my back, and no one knows but me. I've kept this awful secret from my children, my dad, and everyone for over 19 years, and it still haunts me to this day. I have 4 children with this man who became my ex around 19 years ago. I found out about my mom and his sexual encounter straight from his mouth and got confirmation from my mom the same day. I didn't believe him when he told me what he and my mom did. From the masks they wore to the hotel room they met up in, I thought there was no way that this was true. No mother, especially mine, could betray their daughter, her own husband, my dad, and her grandchildren like that. I thought my soon to be ex was just making up a story to hurt me since I hurt him by telling him that we needed to separate. After this disgusting story of him and my mom proved to be true, I called a divorce lawyer the next day. A divorce wasn't even good enough. I was such a good wife to him, and he did this to me. I never even thought about cheating on him. I told him that we needed to separate because he was an alcoholic without a job for 4 years. I told him I would divorce him after I graduate college if he didn't quit drinking. He didn't get a job or stop drinking alcohol. He wasn't nice when he drank either. I remember vividly the day I told my mom, my best friend in the world, what my ex said this time to try to make me angry. And when she busted out into tears and crying, my jaw hit the floor. No, I thought, no, it could not be true. But it was. I thought, but my dad, my kids, how could she do such a thing to us? I did not ask her how she could do this. I didn't even show any anger towards her because she was crying and saying that she was so sorry. After saying a quick prayer, I told her it was okay and I forgive her. I told her I wouldn't tell dad because I think it would kill him. If not him, he might murder the father of my children. I told my mom I would never tell my children because she's their grandma whom they love and look up to. I told her I would tell no one. I told her to stop crying because her secret is safe with me and she is forgiven. I told her we would never speak of it again, and we haven't. I forgave my mom and I act as if it's forgotten. If wishes came true, this is the only wish I'd make, that I could forget this disgusting betrayal. I don't know exactly when it happened, but I was in college for 5 years, so I imagine it was in that time. The thought of him and my mom makes me physically sick and mentally unwell. It takes me a bit to collect myself whenever I find myself thinking of it. It happens more now that he has passed away, much too young. I didn't want to be in the same room with him, but my kids did. I have to act like he was such a good man. As a father, he ended up being decent. As a husband, heck. As a person, he was the worst. And as the mother of 4 children who loved their dad, 4 kids who watched their wonderful dad take his last breath, who am I to say he wasn't so wonderful? This secret will only cause pain to those who know, so I am the only one who will live in this pain. Sometimes I think it's not fair, but what would be fair? There is no fair here. There's only me, the mother who is still alive, making mistakes, while he is the great dad who died too young. Oh my gosh. This girl's actually probably one of the best people on earth. I mean, to be so selfless and not to even think about yourself and how you want to just run around and tell everyone and then like slap your mom in the face and push her face into the dirt is crazy, because that's what I would be doing. I would be running around going absolutely insane, probably looking like I needed to be locked up. Like I probably would be locked up in a mental institution for what I would do. I would go crazy. Every social media site would see me and I would be yelling at the top of my lungs about the situation. Am I saying that's the right thing to do? No, absolutely not. Honestly, I think that everything that she did is the right thing to do because she's 100% right. Like, the kids don't need to know this. That's just putting trauma on them that they don't need. And I know, as much as I'm sure people will be like, no way, like, I would make sure my kids, stayed away from the dad and all this stuff. That's actually not the best thing for the kids. Like, I'm not an expert on kids, of course, but I think that she went about it in the best way possible and letting them just see their dad as what they thought of him instead of putting thoughts in their brain and kind of like tainting their view of their dad, especially now that he's gone. And I'm sure, like she said, he was a good father, so that's all that they need to know. As far as the mom goes, I probably wouldn't have contact with the mom, and maybe the kids would just, you know, sorry, but like obviously wouldn't tell my kids why, but I just feel like it's kind of, I don't know, it's dangerous to put them around the mom in, I don't know why. I don't know why, but like if she can do that, that's really scary. And that just scares me, and I feel like you shouldn't trust your kids with this woman, especially after like betraying you with something like that. But wow. Um I definitely would have told my dad though, for sure. I would have told at least my dad, and then like the kids, they just need to stay out of it 100%. But like the dad, absolutely. The dad needed to know. I would absolutely be like, this is what happened. You make your decision of what you want to do. This is my decision. This is what I'm going to do. But I don't know. Let's see what some of the comments are saying. You did yourself and your father dirty and martyred yourself for someone else's indulgent sin. They could have cheated with anyone else, but they chose each other. I would not carry that burden for anyone. Hope it was worth it. I mean, I don't think I think the only thing that's wrong is that she didn't tell the dad. And like I think she still has contact with the mom, which I think she should be no contact with the mom. But I do think that if you have kids, you would carry any burden for your children. Just like so long as your children doesn't have to endure trauma, especially when you know that that's going to be a traumatic thing to deal with, especially as children. Like children shouldn't be in that business. They should have no knowledge of that. All right, the worst part is that they will be tied to this forever now. When her father inevitably finds out that she was covering for her mom all this time, he will just see them as in cahoots, even if OP genuinely was trying to look out for him. Her father will never look at her the same. Why? What a confusing decision to make. Your mom screwed you over and you screwed your dad over. Damn, I feel bad for him. No one in your family has his back. Question. How would you feel if any of your kids had an affair from you for years? Because that's how your dad will feel if he ever finds out. How would you feel if any of your kids hid an affair from you for years? Bro, why would you even carry this for 19 years? I understand the children protection part, but your dad needs to know what kind of woman she is. You're basically trying to save something that already fell deep into the sea. I would suggest that you should leave, but it's already been so long, and they'll use any excuse that it's already been long ago. I feel like you should discuss this with a lawyer at this point or a therapist. Wait, I'm confused. Does this person not read the story? So you forgave your mother and just carried on like nothing happened and let your kids be around such a snake? Your mother is a degenerate, but you forgave her. So you should forgive your deceased ex. I'm so sorry for your dad. I would have seriously strained relationship with my daughter if I found out she knew my partner cheated on me and said nothing for 20 plus years. That's very true and sad. That's ridiculous. Your mother slept with your husband and you were so outraged that you went to a divorce attorney the next day, but your mom starts crying when confronted, so you immediately forgive her and promise unsolicited that you'll never tell your dad, your children, or anyone about the cheating. Get out of here. I mean, to each their own. And obviously she made the decision that she thought was best for her. I already said my piece on what I think that she should have done. And I honestly admire her for putting, like, because it seems like what she was trying to do was in no way, like, malicious against her dad. She's trying to do what she thinks is best, and that's how she thinks. She's thinking about everyone but herself, which is admirable. But obviously there are a couple tweaks, that I wish she would have done. Okay, the next title is, Am I the asshole for refusing to give my inheritance to my mom after she disowned me for marrying my husband? I, a 31 male, have had a rocky relationship with my mom, Kara. Growing up, she was very set in her beliefs about same sex relationships and race. She would often say things like, I don't hate anyone, but I wouldn't want my son living that way, and I raised you better than this. 5 years ago, I came out as gay and introduced her to my then boyfriend, now husband Marcus, 36 male, who is black. The fallout was exactly what you'd expect. She flipped out, told me I was throwing my life away, and cut me off entirely. When Marcus and I got married 3 years ago, she refused to come to the wedding, saying she couldn't support my choices. We haven't spoken in 5 years. The only family member who really supported me through everything was my grandpa, Jack. He was the one person who accepted me and my relationship with Marcus. After he passed away 2 years ago, he left me an inheritance, which allowed Marcus and me to buy our first home together. It was bittersweet because I knew my grandpa would have been proud, but at least he was always in my corner. A couple of months ago, my mom reached out, completely out of the blue. After 5 years of silence, she said that she wanted to put the past behind us and claimed she forgave me for my lifestyle. I was skeptical, and then she told me the real reason she was reaching out. She's been struggling with some health issues, chronic back pain that has made it hard for her to work, and she's fallen behind on her mortgage and bills. She asked if I could help her out financially using part of the inheritance from my grandpa. I felt torn. On the one hand, she's my mom, and she's genuinely struggling, even if the health issue isn't life threatening. But on the other hand, she cut me out of her life the moment I didn't fit her narrow idea of what a good son should be. And she never once tried to apologize or make things right with me or Marcus. I told her no. I've spent years building a life with Marcus, and it didn't feel fair for her to come back into my life now, only because she needs something. Since then, she's been telling our family that I'm heartless and letting her suffer over a grudge. Now I've got cousins and family friends messaging me saying I should help her because family comes first, and that I'm being petty by holding on to the past. But to me, family doesn't disown you for who you love and then come back when it's convenient. Marcus supports my decision, but I still feel guilty. I know my grandpa cared deeply about family, and I don't want my mom to lose her home. But it's hard to believe she's reaching out now because she actually regrets how she treated me and my husband, and not just because she's in a financial bind. Am I the asshole for refusing to give her any of my inheritance? It's clear to me that she's only reaching out because she needs financial help because of the way that she reached out. Saying that she forgives you for your lifestyle, there's nothing to forgive. You shouldn't be sorry for your lifestyle. This is your life. This is who you love. This is who you are. It's not a lifestyle that you're choosing to partake in. This is your life. This is not something that you chose. It's who you are inside, and she can't accept that. So clearly she hasn't grown at all from this situation in the past 5 years, because she's still saying she's in the right and she is the one who should be forgiving you and not the other way around. What she should be doing is apologizing and saying, I'm so sorry that I was so close-minded and I thought, I'm literally homophobic, clearly, and I'm so sorry. Like, I was homophobic, and I have now realized that that's wrong, and I accept you for who you are, and I love you for who you are, and I can't take back what I did, but I can move forward with you and, grow, and hopefully you can forgive me at some point. And if not, that's totally okay too, because it's your choice after the trauma that she put you through by literally cutting you off for being the person that you are inside, which is not a choice. It's who you are, like I said. So that's crazy, and you should not feel bad at all. This girl needs to do something, and I don't know, like, okay, have her, if your family thinks that it's so important for you to give her money, they should make a fundraiser for her. Make a GoFundMe, give her the money. It's not this guy's responsibility. after being put through what he's been put through by this woman. And it's so obvious. Like, it's not like she's doing anything to make it up to you. She's literally just being a little selfish bitch. Let's read some comments. Not the asshole. Don't feel guilty. She will use you up and then condemn you again. I think you would be better off not letting her back into your life again. She still condemns him. She forgave him for his lifestyle. What the F? She should apologize for her behavior instead. Exactly. Right? He should ask himself how he would feel if she takes his money and then continues to treat him like garbage, because that's exactly what would happen. Somebody who disowned you and only comes back into your life when they need money is not somebody who loves you. She never would have come back if she didn't need anything. The family is just tossing on guilt because they want someone who isn't them to do what's necessary, like take her in if she loses her home. Maybe she should have thought about that before she disowned her child. Maybe she just should have been a good mother to begin with. Good riddance to bad rubbish. I wouldn't give money to a racist homophobe with my dying breath. Oh yeah, and I failed to mention that she's also racist, so that's a double entendre. I don't even know what entendre means, but I feel like that's what you would use, entendre. That's a double entendre. It sounds cool and smart, so. It means a word or phrase that is open to two interpretations, one of which is usually risky or indecent humor. I think I used that wrong for sure, but you know what? There's a new meaning to double entendre. Someone commented, family comes first, not for your mom. Her bigotry comes first, and before that, her wants. Someone said, start a GoFundMe for her and send it to your family and cousins for them to contribute. Literally what I said, but more like you tell them to start a GoFundMe, because I'm not managing that shit. I'm not having anything to do with that. You should cut her off right back. Be like, oh, sorry, I actually don't want to, I'm against moms. Sorry. So I have to leave you and I'm cutting you out of my life now. And that's just as simple as that. Sorry, not sorry. Well, that was kind of short, but that's the end of that story time. I didn't realize that would be like so short, but honestly, those like reactions for me are just so concise, because I think of the theme, like being a terrible mother. What else is there to say other than like literally fuck off, bye, So we're going to move on to the advice segment of the episode, and this is where you guys can ask me any advice and I will give you unprofessional advice back to you. And the Google form is linked below. It collects no information. It's completely anonymous. So you can give me as much detail as possible, because it's a lot easier to give you guys advice when you give the most detail possible. So this question or advice, whatever, says, I, 20 female, am in a relationship with a guy, 23 male, and we've been together since May 2024, but we broke up many times. When we first started talking in October 2023, everything was going great, but I wasn't head over heels for him. He's my height, and I always wanted my man to be much taller than me, but as we had good conversations, I continued with him. December 2023, we stopped talking because I went out with friends, got blackout drunk, and woke up the next morning in someone's bed. The someone told me nothing happened between us, and I believe him because I think I would just know and feel bad or have flashbacks if anything happened. I was already talking to my boyfriend, but we were not in a relationship. I have a lot of regrets and felt a lot of guilt, but as I said, I was completely drunk and I don't remember anything about this party. I told him what happened the day after the party. He took 1 week to think about the whole situation and decided to continue things with me. February, I decided to end things with him because I didn't have the gut feeling he was the one and his height bothered me. 2 weeks later, he came back because he was thinking about me. I accepted because he was sweet. May, we got together. Everything was going great. June, he broke up with me because he knew a guy I'd slept with. He knew my body count, but not the names. We got back together the same day. July, he broke up with me again because he saw the someone of the party in a bar and it made him angry. He can't really manage his words when he's angry. I know, that's a lot of red flags. Since July, everything was going great. November, I asked him to talk to his parents about me being a different culture from them. They don't accept me. We broke up. Again. Then we got back together the same week because we're literally best friends and can't live without each other. But my question is, isn't love supposed to be easy? What do you think about the quote, when you know, you know? Because I literally don't know right now. Why do I have so many doubts? Sometimes I wonder if another man like him exists, but taller. Or I'm scared to wake up at 40 being like, oh my god, I could have found better. What do you think? Should we just break up? I feel like I would be so lonely without him because he's my best friend and I love him, but at the same time, there's so many reasons why this wouldn't work. Family, reputation because of what I did in December. P.S. You're not obligated to read the whole thing on camera with dates, etc. Just realized that was pretty long. Also, English isn't my first language and it's 3 a.m. Sorry for potential mistakes. Well, first of all, I loved the detail, so I'm absolutely reading all of that because that's what I need. Um, and the way that I'm going to tell you right now, break up, and obviously you can do it amicably and nice and you can end on good terms, but I would say just no contact after that because I don't think in any world contact with an ex is good after you break up. Honestly, I believe that no contact is the best way, even if you break up on good terms. And I think that will help you move forward in your life and that will also help the other person move forward in their lives. But yes, if you are breaking up constantly and you can't seem to even come to terms with the fact that you're together, like you don't even really think, you seem a little bit, it's like giving a little bit codependent. And it seems like the only reason that you're with him is because you think you'll be lonely. And also, I don't think the height would matter if it were your person. I I'm going to say the question where you said, what do you think about the quote, when you know, you know? Because I literally do not know right now. Well, first of all, you're 20. You don't need to know right now at all. So don't like force yourself into knowing if this is the one for you. It doesn't need to be the one for you. You're young, you have time. And second of all, I don't know about when you know, you know, because I think it's different for everyone. And I can't really say, like, I can't put that blanket statement on everyone. I could say that when I knew, like, I knew that my boyfriend was the one. And I'm have no doubts. I'm very, very content and at peace with the person that I'm with. And I have zero doubts, zero like worriness about. And I do think that is a great sign, obviously, but at the same time, there is a thing called everyone's different and mental illness. Like there's relationships OCD, which is really hard for some people because relationship OCD can just trigger so many thoughts and think like you think you know, but then relationship OCD just makes you it gives you intrusive thoughts thinking, oh, what if this person isn't the one? What if I could do better? What if we're not as in love as I think we are? Blah, blah, blah. It gives you all these doubts, which I'm not diagnosing you at all. I don't think that you have this. And I think that, but I went through like a situation with my boyfriend where he definitely has OCD in many different ways, and it kind of manifested in our relationship and early on. And it was something that we struggled with and he went to therapy for and stuff. And I don't want to like blast all of his personal information. I don't know if hopefully he's not mad if I say that, but it's just, I mean, it was a part of my life as well, and it was something that I struggled with deeply because obviously, like, that's the worst thing that you can ever hear is that someone's having doubts. But the way that he explained it was like, I know that I love you and I want to be with you forever, but there's like this thing in my head that just, it goes on and on. And obviously, some people are going to be like, oh, he doesn't want to be with you. But I know that it was manifested because of his OCD, because he has really bad like contamination OCD. He has certain things that he's very OCD about, and I'm not talking about like wanting your stuff to be really clean and organized, because I know that that's not OCD, but certain things he is like really bad OCD with. So I know that that was because of OCD, and we worked through it and everything is good. But obviously, yeah, so the reason that I'm saying that is because when you know is such a broad statement, and it just can't really be applied to everyone because everyone's situation is so different. So I don't like putting that on people because that's just a lot of pressure, and I don't think that your relationship should feel pressure like, oh, I need to know, otherwise I got to break up and go on to the next person. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that is just too much to put onto a relationship, and I don't think that you're going to know right away. It might take you a while to know. It might take you a couple years to know. But in this instance with you, I think from what I have gathered, I don't think that you want to be in a relationship with him. I think that you recognize that he's a good guy and that he is, he has a lot of good qualities about him that you would like to have in another guy. But I think that the breaking up all the time is a huge sign. And I have talked about my past relationship literally all the time. Probably every other episode I talk about it. But my 4-year relationship in college was very much on and off and on and off and on and off. And it was so hard because I would break up with him, he would break up with me. I would break up with him 10 times, he would break up with me, or whatever. And it was so bad, and it was 4 years, and I was like, "Oh, I don't think I could live without him." Like, I did love him, but he just wasn't right for me. And once I finally got to the point where I was like, "Okay, I got to break up with him." Like 4 years later, I got to end it. This is it. This is not the person that I'm supposed to be with. It's clear. And after 4 years, finally, I ended it, and for good ended it. And I was so much happier. I was literally a million times knowing that that relationship was over for good. I was so happy. And obviously, I felt bad. I felt very bad ending that relationship because he was super upset about it. And it seemed like it came out of nowhere because at the time we were doing really well. But we weren't meant to be together. And it took a lot of breaking up and getting back together to realize that. So if that's what needs to happen, I encourage you, figure it out. And if you want to stay with him and you really think that's the right thing to do, and you guys keep breaking up and getting back together, hopefully at some point there will be a point where you realize this isn't for me. Obviously, if we keep breaking up, and sometimes you do have to learn lessons on your own, and I can't be the one to tell you, like, hey, you should break up, because sometimes you just have to experience something on your own and get to the point where you feel at peace about making a certain decision. And if that means breaking up 20 more times, which God forbid, I don't wish that on anyone because that was literally terrible, then so be it. But if that means finally breaking up now and realizing that this isn't your person, and that's okay because you're young and you're going to have so many more experiences in your life, and it's going to be okay. And it's, even if you weren't young, it's never too late to start over. You should never keep yourself in a relationship that is so toxic and on and off like this. So I hope that helps. I don't know if that helps literally at all, but sometimes I'd be rambling. So I'm so sorry about that. But like I said, it's unprofessional advice and I try my best. So I love you and I hope that helped. And please, if you have an update, let me know what the update is. Reference the story or the original advice that you submitted and then let me know the update. I want to hear your guys' updates. Seriously, if you've had an advice question and I've read it and you have an update, please let me know because I love to hear an update. But anyways, that is it for this episode of the Storytime Society. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know your questions, thoughts, concerns, deepest, darkest thoughts in the comments below. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you in the next episode of the Storytime Society. Bye. Love you.